Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. Here to review Australia's elimination from the T20 World Cup before the semi-final stage, much to the delight of opposition fans around the globe. I just wanted to react today. There's so much going on, so many reactions around the Australian team, so many accusations thrown to Afghanistan by Fox Cricket around the Gulbuddin Naeem cramps. An absolute miracle that he was able to get going. But truth be told, it had nothing to do with Gulbuddin Naeem. It had nothing to do with any other factor that Australia did it to themselves. It was Australia that was responsible for Australia's elimination. But there was a great opportunity there, particularly where we were placed after beating Bangladesh in the first game of the Super 8s, where all of a sudden you're top of the group. All you need to do is beat Afghanistan in your next game. Of course, that's easier said than done. I'll get to that in a second. And then you're through to the semi-finals. And who knows what can happen there. And you could possibly add another trophy to the cabinet. When someone asked me on Twitter, where do you think it all went wrong? I think it all went wrong at the toss in the Afghanistan game. That's when I think our campaign went up in smoke. We made it difficult for ourselves for no reason when we had it in our hands. Now, I understand that games come thick and fast this time of the tournament. It's difficult to plan really effectively for every single team because you don't have a lot of time to do it. But all it would have taken is for 15 minutes to know that Afghanistan are not a chasing team. They're a side that thrive on knowing what total to defend. Look at the record of Afghanistan in T20 international cricket this year alone. Out of 8 T20 internationals they've been asked to chase, they've won twice against associate nations, the UAE on the 2nd of January and Papua New Guinea chasing 96 in this World Cup. India and the West Indies beat them comfortably in this World Cup. So for Australia to choose to bowl first against a side that actually likes to set and defend totals and a side that thrives on it, it made no sense to me, especially when you consider the ground as well the game was played at. It was played at Kingstown, where now 5 games have been played in this World Cup and all 5 have been won by the team batting first. It was really surprising to see from an Australian think tank that is usually so sound in their thinking. I mean, they just proved everyone wrong in last year's ODI World Cup by bowling first in that game. They had all the tactics, all the research, all the logic behind that decision. But it's hard to understand the logic behind that Afghanistan decision to bowl first. It's a missed opportunity where you could have gone to the back end of the tournament. You would have had a semi-final against South Africa, a lot of pressure on them in semi-finals of World Cups, and who knows where you go from there. Then it was the game against India. The fielding, just like the Afghanistan game, the fielding in the India game was just unbelievable. And I understand that they don't have training sessions in between these games because they're travelling and then they're playing. But these guys have played enough cricket to feel better than that. To have a catching efficiency of about 70% in this tournament, the lowest among the Super 8 teams, yeah, it's just not good enough. Rohit Sharma was on a mission. I think he's been thinking about the Australia game and the T20 World Cup since November last year. He took us apart. And I think we fed him a lot of half volleys and half trackers early on, and he's too good a player. He got to 50 off 20 balls, and Australia were always chasing the game there. But that being said, we were in it. We were in that game. We were about, I think, 116, 2 down in the 11th over, chasing 206. You're in the game. But our middle order couldn't get us home, unfortunately. And that might prompt questions as to where Australia go to from here around the middle order and around the T20 team in general. David Warner's now gone, so Jake Fraser-McGurk you expect will come in for sure. But there's other players like Matt Short. I hope Australia really invests time in him to get him playing better against spin because he can be a real asset in India and Sri Lanka in 2026 with his fielding, with his off-spin bowling and all-round ability. Cameron Green is there, Josh Inglis, Nathan Ellis. There's the likes of Spencer Johnson and Lance Morris. That's 2 failed T20 World Cup campaigns in a row. When you go back to 2022 and now this one, both of them were under expectation, I think, for Australia. Even though I personally believe that we might struggle in this tournament. If you go back to the preview video on this channel, I had us missing the semi-finals because I thought I worry about this team on slow pitches. That's something we've got to get better at in this format. No more David Warner. We thank him for all his contributions, particularly in white ball cricket, especially for Australia. He's a great of white ball cricket for us. Could be a few more changes around Matt Wade, Tim David. Stoiner started the tournament extremely well. Whether he'll be a feature in 2026 remains to be seen. You could say anything you want. You can say anything you want to, make any excuses you want about what Afghanistan did against Bangladesh. They ultimately deserve to go through over us. We had it in our hands. The only reason we didn't qualify was because of our own lack of efficiency. And a quick shout out as well to the Afghanistan physio for performing miracles, for getting Gulbuddin Naib up and about so quickly after the man couldn't walk, like he was shot. And then soon he's bowling and taking a wicket and then sprinting like Usain Bolt in celebration. But truth be told, I can't begrudge Afghanistan. Emotions were high in that game against Bangladesh. You could see how much it meant to them, and obviously it does. This is an amazing journey that they're on. You know, this time 16 years ago, right, back in 2008, they had just won the final of the World Cricket League Division 5 against Jersey. And here they are now. They've knocked off Australia and they've gone through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. And who knows how far they can go. So congratulations to them. And for Australia, later this year in Test cricket, hopefully we'll get that Border Gavaskar trophy back and then retain those ashes in the next summer as well. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. Australia will be back soon, hopefully.